now. Listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Mac's World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody. Showtime.
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
All right. Good afternoon. 6 minutes after 3 o'clock. Oh, we got to wake up because it's showtime, everybody. Showtime. That, of course, is Eddie Murphy from the movie.
I believe that's him from Shrek. It sounds very much like Donkey.
Yeah,
Shrek.
he was just called Donkey, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite Eddie Murphy character. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I love Donkey from Shrek.
Well, I just think it's neat how Eddie Murphy has really gone on to do some wonderful kid stuff.
He's a real talented guy. He's sharp. I won't go down my Eddie Murphy rabbit trail. He was brave recently in regards to some stuff with Bill Cosby. He was one of the first guys to kind of make fun of Bill Cosby.
Really?
Uh-huh.
How did he do that?
Well,
the stuff he's going through? Cosby?
Well, he was, when the news broke with Bill Cosby, SNL actually invited Eddie Murphy to come on and do his Bill Cosby impression. Eddie Murphy does a good really good Bill Cosby impression. And they wanted to have him come on and do his Bill Cosby impression. They were going to make fun of Bill Cosby's kind of womanizing stuff. And Eddie was like, that is just inappropriate. That's tacky. This guy's just going through terrible stuff. That's just wrong. And he refused to do it. But yet it wasn't too much longer. He got some big award, and Eddie Murphy did. And he then did his Bill Cosby impression and kind of threw Bill Cosby under the bus. It was quite funny. But but he didn't do it on SNL. And so I guess, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I know. It's a mad world out there.
It is.
Yes, there is no way to determine right from wrong or left from right, because I don't know. I want to introduce you today to me today. Today I'm a woman. My name is Mackenzie McCoy.
Hi, honey. How you doing?
I'm good, baby. How are you?
Good.
Because I was listening to Dr. Brown last couple of hours, and he's been dealing with this North Carolina, man, getting sued. Yeah, the state is getting sued by the Obama administration because they don't want to honor this transgender thing. And there are people, and I don't want to repeat what Dr. Brown talked about, but there are people who are trying to call transgender the new black, just like gay was the new black.
Bull.
Huh?
Bull.
He's saying that is bull.
I'm saying that's bull.
Oh, your mic's not on.
Oh.
So, all right.
That's bull.
Yeah.
Can you hear it now?
No, your mic's not on.
Anyway.
Keep trying.
Bull.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
And so Dr. Brown had an absolutely wonderful statement. He said, all right, you, sir, you African-American, would you please step up to the microphone? Yes, okay. Sir, when did you come out as a black man?
Right. There's no... Yeah, it didn't happen.
Always have been. And yet the LGBT community tries to... they want to ride the coattails of the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King.
Being a black man or woman is not a choice. Being a transgendered individual, changing your sex is choice. I'm sorry.
Oh, no! How could you say that? I was born this way. And I have a lot of respect for people who are in flux in their identity.
Sure.
I can completely relate to that. Not sexually, but certainly my alcoholism had something to do with my identity and lack of. So individuals I have a lot of love for. It's the movement that's going on that I don't know. I've still got my hopes out that someone from the transgendered community will come on the radio. And I promised Carolyn or One Iowa that I would not preach the gospel. I would not be evangelical. I would not be judgmental. I would not even discern. I just need to understand.
Do you know why?
I don't get it.
Do you know why they go down the avenue of the mantra that they were born that way?
For the same reason, I don't know.
They
no.
just don't want to take responsibility for their choices and their behavior. That's all there is to it.
Well, all right. Let me have a little empathy for those people for a minute, okay, Frank? Let me
fine.
just, because since you're the in-house bigot racist, let's
The resident hater.
let's take alcoholism for a second, okay? I don't care whether it's a disease or whether it's my choice. That to me is not essential to determine the type of sobriety that I have or the type of treatment I want or what I can and cannot engage in anymore. But I can tell you that medical statistics will tell you that I was born with a gene that made me, and this is kind of a funny term, but this is what we say in recovery, I'm allergic to alcohol.
Sure.
When I drink alcohol, I break out in the stupids.
Well, one of the smartest things you said that I said a couple of weeks ago, or within the last 2 weeks.
I said that you said, or you said that I said that I said?
You said that it was the smartest thing I ever said.
Oh, so this is really a compliment for you.
Yeah, well, it was just the fact I was talking about. Jesus Christ was born with no bend, no slant, no propensity, no proclivity towards sin. We're all born with some slant, some bend, some propensity, some proclivity towards something. The rubber meets the road when we choose to act upon those slants. So they may have a slant towards homosexual behavior or transgenderism, but they're making a conscience choice when they act upon on that slant.
Yes, I would agree. I think that was very well said. I think we are all born sinful. I certainly have some. What was that big word you used?
Proclivity, propensity. It's the same thing. Those are
like 12th grade words there, aren't they? Mm-hmm. So we all have that thing that makes us want to do things and say things and be things that are biblically sinful, and therefore when we do those things, it separates us in the relationship we have with our Father God.
For example, Christ had
Can I have an example, Frank?
Well, that's a great example. Christ had no bend or slant towards lust. But could he be subject to the temptation? Yes, because in all points he was tempted as we were. But he had no bend towards it.
Mary Magdalene was a hottie. I've seen the movie.
There was a lot of good-looking women in those days, according to the Bible. When the Bible says women were good-looking, I'm going to suggest the women were good-looking because the Bible points it out.
Yeah, that's true. That's not something the Bible does. Although, isn't there some place in the Bible that they say Jesus is ugly? Or they kind of describe him as
it was just the scriptures are clear that he didn't have
that was
distinguishing features. And was that the prophet Isaiah?
Yeah.
That he would be common looking. In other words, that as you saw him walk down the street, you wouldn't go, "Wow, that guy's got something going on visually."
Yeah.
In fact,
you can resemble that remark, can't you?
Although I stick out a little bit when I walk around. Although it reminds me of in 1 Samuel. I just read this with Pastor Michael Mudloff recently. The 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7, actually, where it says that God does not look upon the outward, but he looks at the inward. He looks at the heart. That's what he's concerned with. And as Frank pointed out, Jesus was without sin and had a pure heart.
To pick up on Chris's point, it was noted in the Bible that David was a very handsome, rudely handsome, comely man.
I can resemble that.
Yes, you look like King David.
Thank you very much.
Sarah, Abraham's wife, was just stunningly beautiful according to Scripture.
Even at like age 90?
She was so beautiful.
Yeah.
She was so beautiful that she had to be hidden in a chest because he thought kings and would take him and kill him, and he wanted her to describe him as her brother to keep from dying because she was so stunningly beautiful.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Now, let me read that from Isaiah 53.
Isaiah 53, my favorite chapter in the whole book.
For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of dry ground. He has no form or comeliness, and when we see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. That's King James, New King James.
Well, obviously, God made us in his own image, which I think is interesting because I have a lot of people who try to tell me, I shouldn't say it that way. They tell me that God isn't a being. God is not a body walking around. God is just God. God is God. He's bright, blinding light.
Well, the Bible says that God is spirit.
Spirit.
But come, let us make man in our image. So I can draw an assumption that maybe they have 2 arms and 2 legs in a spirit form.
I don't know. That's the Jesus part, probably, right? That's the image that He made us within.
Well, it's come, let us make man in our image. So it was God multiple.
Right. I'm the resident liberal here. So when we read that text, we got to remember that we don't want to overemphasize the word image as though we're not stamps. We're not cut. We're not clones of God. We're not made in the image of God in that sense. We have been given the imago Dei, which is the image of God. We have what uniquely in all creation only humans have. We have a soul, we have a spirit, we are triune, we create, we give life, all kinds of other attributes. We're not clones, right?
Would you agree, though, nowhere in Scripture does it point out that angels were created in God's image, and you see some of the descriptions of the seraphims and the cherubims, and one of them does have some human-like form. I think it's the seraphims, but the cherubims have 4 heads, eyes all over, 6 sets of wings, etc., according to the book of Ezekiel, I think it is. So clearly, I think we're unique. And I think that's what got Satan's underwear in a bunch, is he was upset that probably he wasn't even created in the image of God, but yet here we are.
Okay, let me read Genesis 26 in the Amplified Bible.
I want you to read that when we come back.
Okay.
We're coming up on a break. We had time to do a lot, but Frank talked the whole time. So we'll have to come back and start this. Later on, I do have some interesting stories, including we get to name the new mascot for the new Waukee High School. We'll talk about it next.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 3 o'clock, 3:21 in the afternoon on the 10th day of December, 10th day of May in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Waukees, Iowa's fastest growing school district, plans to open a second high school within 5 years. That means 2 mascots, 2 football teams, 2 student bodies, and we, the people, get to name the name of the mascot. So I think we're going to have a contest for that later on. I think that'd be cool. I thought about maybe the Waukee Wombats.
You know what that's all about? The same thing that happened in Ankeny. It's separating the rich and the poor. So now there'll be a poor side of Waukee.
It's not.
First Street in Ankeny separates the rich folk in Ankeny and the lesser folk on South Ankeny, and you can't get any more clear than that.
Well, thank you, resident bigot, racist, and anti-whatever.
Anti-poor.
All right.
Anti-rich.
Let's go in. Yeah, let's go to the phones where Paul is standing by. Paul, what in heaven's name did we talk about in the last 20 minutes that you would want to make an interesting comment on?
Okay, it had to be with the creation of Adam, where it said, we shall make Adam in our own image. We will make man in our own image. Okay? Now, do you know who was kneeling down in the clay that formed up Adam? You're going to say God, aren't you?
I'm going to say Christ.
Yes, it was Jesus Christ. He had already had the nail holes in his hands and everything. As he was at the beginning, so he was at the end. In Revelation, he said he's a lamb slain before the foundation of the world. So that was the image he took upon himself. When he raised from the grave, that was what he looked like as the eternal God. So when he went there and he knelt down in the clay to make Adam, he was the father of Adam.
All right, now, Paul, I can you cite that for me?
Yes, I can. Paul talks about it, that Christ come in the likeness of man. God says, and Jesus also testified this when he was talking to people, do you not know you are the sons of the Most High God? When they're talking about when Jesus said before them that he was God himself, they picked up stones to stone him to death. Those verses are clearly marked in John, I think, chapter 10.
Okay.
Again, in John chapter 17, when he's praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he was praying to his Father to have everything as it was in the beginning. Those things are what Jesus was in the beginning when he raised from the dead, the eternal God. So eternally looked like a lamb slain from the beginning.
Paul, you're brilliant. And I'm just wondering, if you're not a racist or a bigot, I might have a job opening for a Bible specialist.
Well, I don't know if I guess I'd be a bigot because there's only one way to heaven, and that's through Christ.
Well, buddy, are you for a closed border, or are you for open borders? If you're for if you're for closed borders, you're a bigot, you're a hater, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're something.
Well, according to the Bible, there are no borders when it comes to the salvation of Christ.
Well, yeah, I bet.
Jew or Gentile or anything like that. Now, when it comes to being American and the understanding of what it meant by the Statue of Liberty, bring us your poor, your destitute, anybody longing and yearning to be free, that's what our nation was for. But now it's been corrupted, as it goes throughout the rest of the world, trying to make everybody a democracy like the Democrat Party goes. You're a democracy as long as you're under the despot thumb of whomever's in charge.
All right, Paul, as always, I appreciate your phone call, 515-244-0077. Bob, I want to get back to you, and you were reading a scripture for us, and Jill King is waiting on bended knee.
Oh, for what I had here?
Yeah, her exact words are, can you get Chris to shut the heck up so Bob can read the scripture he had? That was Jill. That's what Jill said.
Okay, well, we were
she
talking...
didn't say heck, though. I cleaned it up for television.
Well, I was looking at Genesis 1:26, and he says, then God said, let us, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Now, this is Amplified. That's why I'm reading Amplified. Make man in our image.
Does that mean it's a little bit louder? Is that what Amplified means?
Kinda. Make man in our image according to our likeness. And then it says, not physical, but a spiritual personality and moral likeness. And let them have complete authority over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the cattle, over the entire earth. But again, Amplified tries to give you an explanation. The question is, do you agree with what it says? But it
Yeah.
says our likeness, our image, our likeness, not physical, but a spiritual personality and moral likeness.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Chris.
That's why I like this radio.
Let's have the liberal Chris comment.
No, I think you did just fine.
Because you kind of agreed with Olaf.
I was going to say it. I think it kind of agreed with me. So,
All right, 515-244-0077. Wait a minute. I've got breaking news from Jill. I thought he was going to read something from Isaiah.
Oh, I did.
She did, or he did earlier.
I did.
So Jill just slept through it.
Maybe she's watching on the internet and it's behind.
No, I think at Jill's age, you just kind of nod off. You know how you do
I'm
that?
sorry, Jill. I'm
Sing
sorry.
in the church or
Honey,
the
I'm
movies.
sorry.
You know,
Well,
you do that head bob and then you whip it back. And
Well, let me
you
read
pray
it.
nobody's watching you, especially the pastor.
Let me read it again.
Mike always tells me he can see me when I nod off in church because I sit to the front.
I'll read it again.
Okay, just for nodding off Jill.
Yes. And it says,
N-O-J.
and like a root out of dry ground, he has no stately form or majestic splendor that we would look at him, nor handsome appearance that we would be attracted to him. That's Isaiah 53:2.
All right.
But that's
Amplified.
again the amplified.
That's amplified.
Okay.
Well, what do you got? What do you got against amplified, Mr. Ray?
Because
RB?
amplified is putting in their
He's a
thoughts.
King James guy. He's a King James
I
guy.
know.
I'm a King James guy.
You not or you are?
He is.
I am.
Well, but why can't you be open enough?
Yeah, I'm open.
Tolerant enough of other interpretations?
I still think we were created in God's image.
All right. My, oh, my.
So how about that Waukee mascot? What do you think about
there's
that?
going to be 2 high schools.
Yeah, in Waukee.
And we have to give kudos to Waukee.
Yeah.
Ankeny gets the same thing. Only Valley is the only one in the metro which decides they're going to soak up. You know, every kid in Clive, every kid in Windsor Heights, every kid in West Des Moines can only go to one high school.
Wow.
And that's Valley. And that's one of the reasons why they're always one of the top athletic teams around. Waukee is doing best for their students. Now you've got 2 bands. You got twice as much opportunity for kids.
Right.
So we get an opportunity to name the mascot.
Right.
So they'll be the Waukee blanks.
They're currently the Warriors, right?
Yeah, Warriors is that'll stay Warriors.
Right. But we've got another one then. So we got to come up with
We'll
something.
have the Waukee Warriors and we'll have the Waukee blank. Like Ankeny has
Wallaby?
the Hawks and the Centennial.
The Wallabies. I guess it doesn't have to start with a W.
It doesn't. I like Wombats.
Wombats is actually
I'm
kind of
not
cool.
sure there is such a thing as a Wombat.
Is
though, is
Waukee
there?
champions in anything, any kind of high school sports?
Waukee champions?
I have no idea.
Well,
I'm
if
sure
they
have been.
are, why would they want to split up half their talent to where somebody wouldn't be eligible to go to a certain school? I don't understand.
Because
That's
it's
like
best-
shooting yourself in the foot.
Frank, can I explain it
Yes.
to you? Okay. Do you see around this table right here? There's really only a place for Bob on my left, Chris on my right, and me in the middle. Okay. But we wanted to have you on the air.
so I'm
So
adopted.
we added another chair. So you're like the second high school for Waukee.
Okay.
Because we wanted you to have an opportunity to be on the radio, and the only way to do that was to build something new just to suit Frank.
Well, it still says if the fastest kid in Ankeny lives on the south side of First Street, and he's the best open field tackler in the Ankeny football program, and he lives on the south side of First Street, he can't be eligible to play for Ankeny North.
Sure he can.
Ow.
His mom and dad move.
Okay.
Well, that's all it is. It's
What if
just-
his mom and dad moved to Ankeny to start with to have him in the high school football program because this kid's been looked at by national scouts all over the country? Down in Arizona when he lived in Arizona. So you bring him up to Ankeny to put him in Ankeny, and the high school splits up, and now the kid's not eligible to play for Northside Ankeny because he's on the south side of First Street. I know what I'm talking about, gentlemen.
Are you speaking of someone in particular?
Yes, I know the individual.
Oh, okay. So why didn't he just move to the part of town where the school that he wants to play in is?
Because they had a hard time holding down the fort where they were living on the south side of Ankeny.
You can't find an inexpensive
Right
home?
on First Street. Right on First Street.
Okay. Now, I'm not really interested in your private dirty laundry here. All right. So if you've got a name for the new Waukee mascot, we'd love to hear it. Now, I will tell you, we are 5 years away, and the chance that we're going to name the mascot today is highly unlikely, although Wombat does take a high one. You know the other one I'd like to see? How about this, Chris? The Waukee Warriors 2.
I had thought that same thing. I thought that would be salt.
Warriors 1 play Warriors 2.
That would just be salt in the wound.
How about the Waukee Champions?
Champions isn't bad.
Yeah.
How about the Waukee wine bags?
My high school.
Waukee what?
Wine bags.
My high school were the Knights.
The Knights?
Yeah.
I think we have a Knight. I think Lincoln
Lincoln Rail Splitters, isn't it?
Isn't there somebody that are the Knights? Maybe I'm thinking of Lincoln, Nebraska. That's where I'm thinking.
So they could be the Knights.
They could do the Knights.
The Waukee Knights.
The Waukee Knights and the Waukee Warriors. And that kind of fits.
That's kind of cool. Knights and Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So anyway.
That's my vote.
Just to let you know that it's the property that's north of Hickman Road between 4th and North 10th near the Waukee Family YMCA. That's where they're going to build this new high school, which I think is unbelievably close to the other one. I mean, it can't be, let me think. It can't be more than a mile, can it, from the other high school? Shouldn't they be farther apart than that?
I don't know. I mean, how big? I mean, Waukee is just dense, and I don't mean intellectually speaking. I mean, it's highly populated, right?
Well, and Waukee is growing north and south. It's
is there
really
land?
Not going west that much.
Is there land to grab yet, or are they are the Waukee borders
expanding?
Finished? Can they expand, or are they
imperialist Waukee?
You know, I don't know that. I know that Waukee, that Urbandale grabbed some land that brought them farther west than Waukee had wanted. This was probably like 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure of that. Right now, this year's 2016 Waukee High School graduating class has 550 seniors. The kindergarten through 5th grade classes each have more than 800 students. The high school as it stands now can accommodate 1,800. By the year 2020, they'll be reaching 2,200. So kids better start moving to Waukee. Keep those schools busy. You know, in Ankeny, they're actually shutting down some elementary schools because it's not. They've hit their peak growth. It's now in upper elementary. Now it's in middle school. Now it's the high schools. And at some point, if Ankeny doesn't continue to grow, they'll have way too many elementary schools. All right, 515-244-0077. Let's go to the phones where Jerome is standing by. Jerome, how are you?
How's it going, Mac? Hey, man, I love your show, but, you just said something. I think Mr. Coates has a point. The only purpose of splitting up school districts is because you're trying to separate the classes. In particular, the comment you made about, well, then just move across town. Well, the point that Coates is trying to make is that there's a rich part of town and there's a poor part of town. And if I can live in if I can't afford to live in the rich side, then my kid can't go to that school, and I'm not afforded those opportunities.
Wow.
I think that's what he was getting at.
And you really believe that that's what's going on in Waukee and Ankeny?
I know that that's what happened in hometown.
Okay.
I can't see why. You know, it was another Iowa town, so I can't. There's no reason why that philosophy wouldn't filter out into the bigger city.
All right, Jerome, I appreciate your call, man. Always appreciate you listening. You know, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I am. I don't know.
Mr. Coates is right today.
I think Jerome has a great point.
You think it's separating the classes?
I think it could be. It's very possible. I don't know, but I don't know the demographic makeup of Waukee.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk more about that and an Iowa woman who's being charged with child endangerment.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed radiators free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have their problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed straight or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
3:38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. 10th day of May in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. I want to introduce you to a lovely young lady by the name of Darcy Cowan. Did I say that right? C-O-W-A-N. Mm-hmm. And Darcy is one of the proud members and supporters of the Royal Family Kids. And if you've never heard of them, let me tell you a little bit about them. And then a little bit later, we're going to give you an opportunity to sign up for a run. Can I have somebody from the radio station, represent the radio station in this run?
Absolutely.
Okay, Frank, listen up. Since 1985, Royal Family Kids, RFK, have been offering week-long summer camps for children of abuse or neglected who have been placed in foster care. For many of these children, a week at summer camp is a first. It is a life-changing experience for these kids. Royal Family Kids, RFK, develops camps across the country and internationally with the goal of offering weeks of camp to every 6 to 12-year-old in foster care each summer. In addition to the camp, these foster kids have the opportunity to participate in club time and a 9-month mentoring program. Now, if you want to find out more information, should we have them go to the Johnston one or the other one?
The other one is the national website, and then the Johnston one will... It's a local one and explains the run. It's where you can sign up for the run too.
All right. So it's www.johnston.royalfamilykids.org. Now, if you go to royalfamilykids.org, obviously you get to the national organization, but we want you to put Johnston in front of that. So www.johnston.royalfamilykids.org. So there's going to be a 5K a week from this Friday, the 20th. Located at Raccoon River Park in West Des Moines. Mm-hmm. $25 for 13 and up, $10 for 12 and under. Mm-hmm. Everybody receives a Kids Camp Run T-shirt. Walk-up registration that day is only $5 more, $30. But you really sign up in advance if you can.
Yeah.
It'll start at 6:30 in the afternoon on a Friday evening. Now, that's different. Usually those runs start in the morning and go through all that.
Yep. We're going to try something new, try to get out on Friday night and take a little run. Hopefully it's a nice evening. And
yeah. Have you done the run before?
No, this is the first one. First time.
All right.
First annual.
Now, Frank, pay attention.
Hey, I'm paying attention.
Be a part of the answer. Take part in the first annual 5K run walk and 1 mile walk to raise awareness and funds to send more foster kids to Central Iowa camps for a week or more. The opportunity to attend a club time and a 9-month mentoring program. So, Frank, have you ever run a 5K?
I don't know that I ever ran something called 5K, but...
Would you know what a 5K is?
No. Probably ran that distance, but
It's 5 kilometers.
Okay.
So that's about 5 miles. Can you run 5 miles?
3 miles.
What?
3 miles.
3
It's
miles.
3 miles.
It's a metric
Okay.
system.
Yeah.
So you can run 3 miles.
Oh, yeah, I've run 3 miles.
Bob,
in my
get
life.
something on fire and chase him for 3 miles.
I can't. I can walk, though.
I had a question. You say
You had a question.
Well, 13 and up. Is there an age limit on it? I mean, does it go up to 18?
No age limit.
Yeah.
13 on up.
Yeah, you
any
can't
age.
get out of it, Frank. You're not
Any
too
age.
old. All right, now, if you'd like to simply help them, we've got Royal level sponsors, Purple level sponsors, and Friend level sponsors, which helps you put money in so these kids can go to camp. Because the idea is they go for free.
They do go for free, yeah.
They do go for free. So you have to raise the money to send the kids to camp.
Exactly.
So tell me, Darcy, why are you passionate about this?
I've been involved with Royal Family. This will be my 12th year. There's been a camp in Des Moines for 15 years that I was a counselor at for 10 years and then helped with the counselors last year. We want to be able to bless these kids and have more kids go to camp. They experience maybe things for the first time, like a birthday party. They experience a tea party. They get to dress up. They do fishing and swimming and just all kind of camp things, creation station. And their lives are changed from when they come, they might be shy. And then we're trying to make moments matter, make memories, send them home with a memory book. And there's a breakfast club and a chapel each day, a memory verse for the week. So just absolutely help them blossom.
So they're also exposed to Scripture.
They are.
Okay. So is this a biblically founded camp? Does it have a biblical worldview?
Yes.
Okay, so all
It's
the kids
Christian based.
It's Christian based. All right. Well, you never know with the word Christian anymore.
I know.
I think if Jesus came back to earth right now and he'd see that we call ourselves Christians, I think he'd be appalled. That's just my personal opinion. All right, so we want you to help listeners. I want you to help these folks out and just go to www.johnston.royalfamilykids.org. Now, are you a foster parent or were you a foster child?
No, it was presented at which we attended, and I was interested in it, so I signed up and just have been a counselor. So.
Yeah, and families that take in foster kids are some of the best families ever. Now, you only hear about the bad stories, and those are once in a million, where a mother, a father, a man, or a woman will have an ulterior motive for wanting to bring foster kids in. 99.999% of these families are good Christian families, and these foster kids, as you kind of pointed out early, man, they could be really messed up. I mean, they have had tough lives.
Yeah.
They have been around drugs, alcohol, abuse, just some of the worst thing in the world.
And move a lot.
Move a lot.
In any given time, they could, one day they're at one home, and the next day everything goes in a garbage bag, and then they're moved to another home. Wow. So move around a lot.
And before, our station manager had to dart out of here, Chris Roloff, I think he said at one point he had 4 foster kids in their home.
Yeah, he and Steph had foster kids before they adopted their own. Yeah. So without a doubt, this is a program that the investment of your money, and here, let me give you an example. So let's say you're a grandma and grandpa now, and you always sent your kids to a good Christian camp. Well, they're grown up now and have kids of their own, and this is your chance to send one of those foster kids to camp. $300 will have a company name and all participant shirts and website promotion, 2 complimentary walk-run entries for the event. So you really get involved you really get involved with this organization and you're recognized for doing that. Not that we need recognition, being recognized, but if you're a company, if you're a business, it can really help benefit your business to see that you're supporting these kids.
Absolutely.
We only have about a minute and a half, but can you remember a kid, one that comes to mind that makes you smile?
Yeah.
That you remember the camp changed them? Tell me, but you don't have to give me their name, but just tell me about it.
Right. There was a girl that came to camp. She never looked up. She just always looked down, didn't make eye contact. And the particular year that she came there, the verse was out of Esther. And so we had a drama, a skit. And
don't tell me she played Esther.
By the end of the week, she did. She was smiling. She was welcoming other people. She felt part of the family. And ironically, her sister went to camp. That was her last year at camp. She was 12. But her sister came, and the next year we saw her, because when the kids come back, they do a little program for their foster parents. And she was there, and she was flourishing, doing well.
Wow.
She was in a good home, but Royal Family Help, it's about those moments, one-on-one. The counselors, it's not like they have a bunch of kids with them. It's one counselor per 2 kids.
Wow.
So it's a lot of close interaction. They get a lot of attention.
All right.
So.
All right, Darcy Cohen, thank you for being here today. If you want more information, it's www.johnston.royalfamilykids.org. You can sign up for the run that's coming up on May 20th. You can sponsor several kids, because all the kids that go to this camp, they're all foster kids, and the only way they get there is from you and I. So hopefully you'll look that up and be generous. Darcy, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're coming back live here in Mac's World with Frank and Bob and Jeb and the most important person, you. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Darcy.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Maziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, 10 minutes before the top of the hour, 3:50 in the afternoon, 10th day of May in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Coming up next hour, Tom Coates. Well, Tom Coates is in now, so you might hear his voice now. But next hour, Tom Coates and I and Frank and Bob will be talking with a young man by the name of Ryan. And we're not going to use his last name, although well, that'll be up to him. I guess I'm deciding right now we won't use it until we talk to him. But Ryan was in charge of Mitt Romney's presidential campaign in the state of Iowa here 4 years ago. And then this past season, political season, caucus season, he was in charge of Ben Carson's camp. And so I said to Ryan, I said, hey, someday when you're not connected to anybody and you can talk freely, I want to see how the sausage is made. I want to know what's going on in that. And so he called me the other day and he said, well, I won't be in Iowa, but I can be on the phone. I'm in between campaigns, and I'm more than happy to talk to you now.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to get him, I don't want to get him in trouble, though. You know what I mean? I don't want him to say something that later he's turned down for a job opportunity or somebody thinks less of him because of what he said. That's the only thing I want to be careful of. That's not worth it. All right. Frank, do you see what I just stepped on?
Yes.
My pedestal.
Yes. You want me to step on mine?
Dateline, Des Moines, Iowa. An Iowa woman has been charged with child endangerment after police say she gave birth to the baby in a hospital bathroom, then tried to flush it down the toilet because she thought it was dead, and then left it in a trash can. University of Iowa police said Ashley Hutzenrader of Davenport, 22 years old, by the way, entered a bathroom at the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics just before 9:30 p.m. This was last Sunday, Mother's Day, and she gave birth to a baby. Hutzenrader did not know she was pregnant before entering the bathroom. After the delivery, she thought the baby was dead because it was not crying, and police said she tried to flush it down the toilet. Hutzenrader then put the baby in a pillowcase, left it in a trash can, cleaned the bathroom, and left. The baby was found alive by University of Iowa hospital employees shortly after the delivery. Spokesperson Tom Moore said Tuesday morning in an email to the Press Citizen, the baby is fine, but the young lady, the mother, Hutzenrader, admitted to leaving the baby in the trash after she thought it was dead. Citing federal patient privacy laws, of course, the hospital couldn't tell us much about the condition or anything about the baby. However, Hutzenrader has been charged with child endangerment, an aggravated misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years in prison. She was arrested Monday afternoon and released from Johnson County Jail. All right. So this woman had an abortion.
Well, didn't say anything about abortion, said she had a baby.
Well, she had a baby that she didn't think was born alive.
She wanted to do an a la Obama late term after the birth to abort the baby, right?
Well, I don't know about that.
That's what Obama supported. If the woman decides after she has a baby that she wants to kill it, then she ought to have every right to do so. And Hillary hadn't even condemned that position, has she?
Would that be considered a miscarriage?
This is my first question, Mac. How does a woman carry a baby far enough in term that she doesn't even know she's pregnant and then have a baby in a bathroom? Now, I don't understand that. Can you explain that one to me?
Well,
then the baby lives. I mean, after all of this, the baby lives, so it's got to be far enough along in term. How does she not know she's pregnant?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a woman. I've never had a baby. I do know that there are cases where obese women, large women, their cycles are not consistent. So when they begin to miss their periods, it's nothing different to them. And because of their natural size or the regular size that they are, they're not aware of anything getting bigger, thus having a baby bump.
Are there other signs? I mean, my wife's had 3 babies, and my kids have had babies, and I think there's significant signs after so many months that things aren't normal.
I don't agree with you. But I'm telling you that this young lady, and see, here's the point I'm trying to make, and I'm not doing a very good job of it. This young lady is charged with a crime. Yes, it is a misdemeanor, and I'm glad to hear that. But she's charged with a crime for letting her baby die.
Why?
The baby didn't die, though. The baby lived, right?
Well, but she thought the baby was going to be dead.
Wasn't that just an unviable tissue mass?
Well, again, Obama, even in the Illinois legislature, took that position that even after the baby is born, if the woman decides she doesn't want it, you ought to be able to snuff it out.
Yeah.
which is an extreme position that never came back to haunt him. And apparently Hillary hasn't distanced herself very far from that position, has she, Frank?
No, not at all.
So, am I glad that she's being charged with something? I don't know. I
think there ought to be some consequences to that, Mac.
Well,
I mean, if she can do that with impunity, what's to stop the next woman from having a baby, dumping it off in the trash, and walking away?
Well, you have to remember what's interesting about this is Iowa has had in place since 2002, so 14 years, the Safe Haven Law. And that allows a parent to leave an infant up to 14 days old at the hospital or other healthcare facilities without fear of prosecution or abandonment.
Right. I like that. I like that
so
part.
why is Ashley being charged with misdemeanor?
She didn't try to save the baby. She tried to kill the baby. I mean, she didn't think it was an unviable tissue mass when she tried to flush it and then dump it in the trash.
It would be interesting to know how many weeks she was and how big the child was, because I had an aunt that had a miscarriage, and it was described to be about the size of a Barbie doll. You know, I would be interested to know, because it seems fantastic that some woman could miscarry something and not realize she was pregnant,
and big enough. Now, one of my daughters had a miscarriage. I mean, and it does happen, but big enough that it's viable and survives a flushing and a dumping in the trash, and they find it alive. Now,
you'd think that would be at least 5 months, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would think so, Frank.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Well, I just think that this is when the whole abortion thing gets all messy and icky, because we've got a safe haven law. We have a young lady here who gave birth to a baby, thought it was dead. Now, maybe she really didn't. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. And I'm not trying to be.
Well, we'd only have her words on this anyway. I mean, who would know that she tried to flush it and then dump it and thought it was dead without her testimony? Because she apparently was by herself.
Right.
You know, but she cleaned up the bathroom, so that means that baby had to be alive in that pillowcase for 7, 8, 9 minutes. I don't know.
That's right, and she was clear-minded enough to try to cover up the act.
Yeah, by cleaning up the bathroom.
Again, that also shows some level of conscious intent that I think ought to be punished at some level.
So it's not the crime, it's the cover-up.
Well, we know that sometimes that is in cases, yes.
All right, well, just another terrible story. And anyway, worth noting. All right, we're going to take our top of the hour break with Salem Radio Network News, update you on all the news, and then when we come back, a political conversation with a political insider. Ryan, Tom, Bob, Frank, me, Jeb, and you, live here on The Truth.